How's it possible that a non-lottery rookie was carrying the team in one of the biggest markets in the NBA? How's it possible that on a star-studded roster that should be competing for everything, the best player's a 20-year-old kid? What's the reason that Jared McCain has been the most consistent player on the Philadelphia 76ers before his injury? Let's go back. The reactions to draft day were all over the place. And while there were a lot of people who understood Jared's potential, those who didn't made a lot of noise.
Have you seen that guy? He paints his nails.
How's a kid who spends his afternoons recording TikToks going to make it to the NBA? He's the zestiest player I've seen. Whatever that means. Well, I've got bad news for all of them, because Jared McCain's an NBA stud, and he is the truth. Sorry, Paul Pierce. Prior to the injury announcement on December 14th, 76ers fans had poured expectations into the only bright spot this season. Because in what's been a disastrous first 2 months of the regular season, Jared had taken the opportunity to earn his place in the league. Daryl Morey got it right again with a non-lottery pick, because this kid's highlights are truly reminiscent of a hybrid between Jalen Brunson and Stephen Curry. Logically, we have to bridge the gap. But what if we compare him to the 20-year-old version of Steph or Brunson? Is it really that crazy? That's what makes us wonder, what is McCain's true potential? What's the future for this rising star who, prior to this injury, was leading the race for Rookie of the Year? To understand that, we have to understand his context, his past, and how he got here. So let's get to it. Question. You know the 6 degrees of separation theory? The theory that says we're all connected through a chain of 5 acquaintances? Well, according to that theory, McCain only needed 2 intermediaries to reach NBA players, because his father, Lance McCain, played with the legendary Spud Webb at Midland College. So Jared grew up in Sacramento and grew up in the city to become one of the best prospects in the state. As his basketball stock skyrocketed, he was already busy building a strong social media presence. Now, all NBA fans know all about Amanda's TikToks. But Jared spent his entire teenage years being active on social media platforms, and that caused him to become, over time, one of the most famous young athletes in the United States. His essence never changed during his youth. His jovial personality's been part of his secret to becoming a player with an iron mind. Because his dances are a true representation of his off-court personality, he doesn't care what people say about him. He's above all that. And the pressure he's endured as he's grown as a player has prepared him for his next challenges. After finishing his high school career at Centennial High School, where he was named the California Gatorade Player of the Year as a junior, McCain set his sights on Division I. The guard was ranked as the 10th best prospect in his class by ESPN and received a 5-star rating by all the scouting agencies. But despite having offers from Louisville, Houston, and Gonzaga, he decided to go to one of the most prestigious programs in the country. Of course, we're talking about the Duke Blue Devils. It didn't take him long to take over. Jared and Kyle Filipowski became the team's 2 leading scorers, and McCain confirmed what all the scouts suspected. He was a shooting guard who had the defensive potential to become an NBA player. His 41% three-point shooting in his first and only season in Division I proved that, against the best defenses in the country, Jared's abilities weren't a fluke. But for some reason, not all GMs were convinced by his skill set. Perhaps it was partly his flamboyant personality, or maybe it was simply the apparent lack of size McCain would have at the next level. But the truth is that in the end, the shooting guard wasn't picked in the lottery. As many as 15 names were called before his own on draft night. But when the Sixers had the choice and the perennial question of whether to select the 19-year-old or the already developed Dalton Knecht, Daryl Morey again made the right decision. Mind you, I'm not saying Knecht was a bad pick. In fact, it's crazy that a forward with that kind of immediate impact ability fell out of the lottery in a draft that was presumably weak. But have you seen Jared McCain play? Have you seen the maturity in his game? Have you seen his consistency to perform night in and night out, each time in different roles? Not to mention that he just turned 20 years old? As I said at the beginning of the video, the Sixers season's off to a disastrous start. Embiid has been unavailable for most games due to relapses from the meniscus injury he suffered last year against the Knicks in the playoffs.
And lands hard on that knee right away. Knew something was wrong.
Paul George suffered 2 hyperextensions of his knee in the last 2 months, and Tyrese Maxey's been carrying hamstring problems from overuse for weeks. Sometimes one is out, sometimes both, and sometimes all 3. Not to mention the exception when the Sixers' big 3 is fully available. I mean, just imagine being a rookie just coming into the NBA, and every night you're asked to do something different. Some days you have to be the guy, the man who has to carry the offense. And other days you have to spend possessions in the corner while the 3 max contract players on your team take care of everything. The amazing thing is that McCain's done what he's been asked to do on each of those occasions. And not only that, as Paul George said on his podcast, he's been the most consistent player on the roster this season.
To be quite frank, he's been our most consistent player on the team so far.
Jared was averaging 15.8 points, 2.5 rebounds, and 2.6 assists per game, with a solid 46% shooting from the field and 38% from three-point range. But that's not the most incredible thing, because in that sample, there are a lot of early season games in which he barely stepped on the court. In the 10 games in which McCain's played more than 30 minutes, he's averaging 24 points, 3.4 rebounds, and 3.6 assists per game. Numbers that do justice to the offensive contribution to one of the best young talents in the league. But how does he do it? What's really his secret? I mean, we all know the kid has range, right? In catch and shoot, he's a deadly player. His quick release, despite not having great elevation, allows him to find opportunities to shoot whenever he gets the ball. But McCain's much more than a spot-up shooter. As a ball handler, he's surprising everyone. Not only has he proven to be a very good passer for his age, but he's shown tremendous proficiency in pick and rolls. He himself acknowledged that Jalen Brunson was one of the players he studied the most. And that's evident when we see his spin moves, his shot from mid-range, and his ability to find the roller. But he's also showed why Stephen Curry's his favorite player. His repositioning after being denied out of a play is completely reminiscent of Steph. And of course, his ability to shoot from long range in transition. This skill set is highly valued in today's NBA. So much so that his production skyrocketed since Nick Nurse gave him the chance to shine. And to the point right before his injury, Jared McCain was the favorite to win the Rookie of the Year award. Not only does it seem impossible that he could fall out of the rotation, as he seems to be the favorite to embrace the sixth-man role when all the Sixer stars are healthy, there doesn't seem to be any other rookie capable of matching his production. It seems surreal that the Sixers, again with a mid-first round pick, have managed to find another future All-Star. Because make no mistake, McCain, despite what it may seem with his image in networks, is a baller who leaves everything on the court. Every loose ball is a chance to get something positive for him. Every rebound, on a team that needs it like food to eat, is an opportunity to get an extra possession. Jared's proven to be a dog. And in a way, he's been lucky. Sixers fans still have the Ben Simmons experience fresh in their minds. A player who literally had it all and everyone knew what he was capable of, except for one thing, the mentality. The fact of having excelled throughout his career and being labeled as the NBA's new generational prospect hurt him in the long run. Because when he had to face adversity, he just wasn't capable. But McCain? It's completely different. At the beginning of the season, it was said that he wasn't going to get minutes despite having excelled in training camps. Even some Sixers fans were criticizing him for his off-court decisions and his social media presence. But folks, that's nothing new for him. McCain's been facing naysayers his entire life, in high school, college, and now in the NBA. And that's prepared him for this moment, to not be intimidated, to become the best version of himself. His self-confidence is just unreal, and you can say that just by looking at his shot selection. Now, no one knows what the future holds. The Sixers have witnessed on several occasions players who look like they were going to take over the world and ended up coming to nothing. They know that an NBA career is too long to draw conclusions from just 2 months of competition. But they also know, deep down, Jared McCain is different. They know he's a super talented player, and most of all they know that what he does on the court is not normal for a kid his age. Now, we just have to wait for him to come back from the injury to live up to the huge expectations he's created.